I'll be honest with you, I have been slacking with my MR2 badly. Basically, I don't know. I kind of been so busy with work and everything. I just couldn't be bothered. In all honesty, I've had so much to do in life that I've hardly spent any time on this in the last, what? I don't think it's been on the road for like 8-9 months. It's ridiculous. And yeah, most of that 8-9 months, it's done nothing. I've, worked on it for like half an hour, a couple of bloody days a week, It's stupid, really. But I've pulled my finger out because, wow, I don't know, I've got a second wind. I've just feeling it again. And I hate working on cars. I hate building cars. I like driving them. And I love driving this. But just having to work on it, especially over the winter where you're not going to be using it much anyway because the weather's crap, I kind of just, lost interest a bit. But while I haven't shown you any of these updates, I've proper cracked on with it now. So, yeah, let me show you what I've done. First up, in the engine bay, it's basically done. There's a couple of things to wire up, but apart from that, it's all piped up, wired up, everything. All the millions of vacuum hoses and fuel hoses and map sensor and Mac valve and just everything. I even added some heat protection over the breather lines where they're near the exhaust, and the wastegate line where it's near the exhaust, so things don't melt and fuck things up. And yeah, it's there, really. There is literally a couple of things to wire up, and yeah, it's ready to go. There is some things different under here. I don't know if you can spot them or what they are, but I'll talk about that in a second. Going on to the inside, again, it's pretty much finished. All boost pipes are back on. AM finally sent me the replacement gauge and it works. And yeah, there's a little bit of tidying to do, a little bit of wiring, putting the seat back in, which obviously comes last, but generally it's all there. At the front is where you'll notice the change most of all. Yeah. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yeah. Am I childish? Yeah. Is it something I always wanted to have a play with? Yeah. This car's now got nitrous. This is my it was my Christmas present to myself to get the motivation back in, and it has worked because I've actually got on with it now. But yeah, as if it's not fast enough, it's now got a little tickle of gas. This is a Nitrous Express. I don't remember the name of the kit, but it's basically it's a wet kit, single nozzle before the throttle. But I'm not doing it the normal way as such, hence why there's a fuel cell. Let me explain. Basically, as you probably know, this thing's already running, well, it made 514 brake at 2-bar boost, and it's running pump fuel and reliably. But it's still on standard pistons, it's got rods, but it's fucking going some for pump fuel. And while normally with nitrous, the fuel will be added, will be the pump fuel. But I didn't fancy that because I'm already really pushing this thing. And secondly, to be honest, I've got no issue with non-pump fuel, like, you know, because all these cars these days, they're all running fucking E85 and this, that, the other bullshit. But the thing is, that ain't no road car. This and a trailer queen, this is a car that gets driven everywhere. So it's a road car. I need to be able to drive anywhere and fill up and use it. And that's why I always like the idea of dual fuel systems, a bit like a lot of these some of these American drag and drive cars run, where they'll have pump fuel and then a completely secondary fuel system that runs race fuel, usually methanol with them. But yeah, like 2 full fuel systems. And I like the idea of that on this, because if you only have the second fuel when you're running like above however much boost or whatever, you'll hardly use any of it. You don't need a lot of it, because the thing is, that's why race fuel and stuff, unless you're minted and not traveling far, and then a road car fuel, because you have to, you know, 99% of your fuel is just on the driving about. Say if you're out you know, having a spirited Sunday drive, say, or even if you're out one evening looking for races, how much of that time are you driving normally versus giving it full beans? I would say you're probably giving it full beans barely 1% of the time. So for 99% of the time, you're just pottering about, wasting this race fuel, which is, or any fuel, whatever you're using, which makes it pointless. But with dual fuel, where the race fuel or whatever only switches on above, you know, a second set of injectors or whatever, only switches on above, like, you know, 1 bar boost or 1.5 bar boost or whatever the hell you've got it mapped for. I like that idea, because you don't need a massive tank of separate fuel, because you're not using that much of the race fuel. Anyway, I've not done that yet, because I might in the future, when I've got like a proper, if I ever go like crazy power, I'll build another engine and literally do a dual fuel setup with like 8 injectors. So 4 for pump fuel, then a full secondary fuel system with 4 more injectors, spraying whatever fuel I choose. I haven't done that this time, but I am running dual fuel. So the nitrous, when that comes on, it won't, because I'm not going to be spraying a ton of nitrous anyway. It's going to be like, I don't know, I doubt if I run more than a 50 shot. And the thing is, with nitrous on a turbo car, often whatever the rated number is anyway, you know, 25 jets will often give double that anyway. I know from a friend of mine's, my friend Wenny's old Mk3 Escort Cosworth, if I recall, when they added nitrous, they added 25 jets, just 25 shot nitrous, and it added 50 horsepower up top and about up to about 120 horsepower in the mid-range when it, you know, come on. A lot of that was because it spools up the turbo faster as well, so it adds loads of mid-range, but it added 50 up top when it was only 25 jets. On this, I'll probably just start with the lowest jet on the Nitrous Express kit, which is like a 35, and I can't ever see me, even if I decide to go bigger than that, I ain't going more than like the 50, because no, this thing, you know, I can't take the piss. So I'm, you know, what's gonna last, because it's stock piston still, no matter what I say. But anyway, regardless of that, when the nitrous is on, the fuel that will be being delivered won't be the pump fuel. It's going to be coming from this. And yeah, this is a separate, I think it's a 5-gallon fuel cell with a 044 pump and a completely separate regulator for it. It's a completely separate fuel system. And yeah, that'll be supplying the race fuel along with that. That 1 5-gallon tank is enough, well, more than enough to do a whole bottle of nitrous, if not more so. So I've got no worries of, you know, running out of fuel before I run out of nitrous. No, I run out of nitrous before I run out of fuel. It's only 5 gallons, but when it's only on, when the nitrous is on, that's more than enough. You don't need a lot. This is what people don't realise, and this is why I like the idea of dual fuel systems. So yeah, this is how it's gonna go. My initial thing was, because I didn't plan this, I literally was like a bit fed up, and I felt like buying myself a Christmas present, and I always wanted to play with nitrous, but it's the one thing I've never played with, to be fair. I'm always turbos and superchargers and shit like that, but I appreciate what nitrous can do, especially on a turbo car. So it's like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. So I bought it with no real plan, and yeah, here we are. And I really didn't know exactly what I was going to do with fueling and all that. My initial thing was, you know what, I'm going to just run methanol in the, you know, as the dual fuel thing, because it's cheap, it's easily available. I mean, it's barely, it's not actually that much more than normal, you know, super unleaded 99 octane like Shell V-Power, to be honest. Like for a 25 litres of methanol, for example, it's cheap as fuck. But then I was like, you know what, methanol, it complicates things, because, well, there's lots of things. The first thing that complicates things is obviously it does eat things like fuel lines, fuel pumps, blah 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 blah. So it's not the most friendly thing in the world, and that might get annoying. Secondly, it makes the jetting a bit more complicated, because you need a fuck-sight more methanol than you would normal gasoline, should we call it, just normal petrol, be it race petrol or not. E85 similar. E85 you need a hell of a lot more fuel per air or per nitrous. And, you know, these things complicated a bit, but it's not like the big deal. The biggest deal, and this is why I decided against it, was because obviously this car with the ECU and all that, it's got wideband lambda, and it does, you know, it's a good ECU. It's got things like fuel trim and whatever, so it will try and keep the fuel in correct, you know, what it's assigned to do. So like, you know, whatever the, I can't remember what it is on the map, whatever the AFR should be, this, you know, the ECU will try and keep it like that. The problem is then, that ain't really gonna work if you're injecting methanol or ethanol, because their ideal AFRs are totally different. So you'll be pumping a crap load of methanol in to, you know, because that's what's needed. ECU would see that and be like, too rich, and would then try and lean out the normal fuel. Yeah, it's, I don't want it fighting against each other and leaning things out and breaking it. It's like, they might be fighting each other. The methanol might be super high octane and, you know, very detonation resistant. But if the ECU is not realizing that, even if you did get it remapped to suit this, that's quite complicated to, you know, it's not like just 2 clicks just to get it nailed like that. It's like, you know what, if they're fighting each other, you know, it's gonna end up breaking stuff. You know, the only reason I'd want to run methanol is because it's safer than running the pump fuel with it. But it's not safer if the ECU tries to lean out the pump fuel to make up for all this methanol being squirted in. And I didn't want to take that risk. So it's like, you know what? No, fuck that shit. So it's like, hang on, what am I going to do then? It's like, I didn't want to go to all that effort and then it potentially still be wrong, especially when I'd spoke to some people about running, who'd done it before, who'd run dual fuel setups and whatever, and nitrous with methanol, and they said, you know what, it can cause issues because it's tricky to get the tune right. It's just, yeah, and for various reasons, including what I said. It's like, it works great if you can get it right, but you might break things easier than you think. So it's like, no, fuck that. So I was thinking, you know what, maybe I am just safer just taking a punt with pump fuel, because I'm only running smaller amounts of nitrous anyway. It's not like I'm fucking going for the moon and the ECU's got full knock control and all that anyway. And then I thought, no, hang on a minute. I can't run ethanol or methanol, but normal gasoline-based, non-oxygenated race fuels are the same fucking AFR as normal pump fuel. So I do that. This is the sort of tricky thing though, because a lot of these race fuels these days, they are oxygenated, which means you have to run more fuel again to, you know, to make it correct, which again, it's like, no, I don't fucking, that's not so bad, because the being oxygenated, the lambda, to some extent, you'd hope, would be, you know, the short-term fuel trims and whatever would try and compensate, but I don't want it to compensate. I just want it to be right from the start. And yeah, I spoke to some people, Americans especially, because Americans and nitrous, they know their shit. And they all had the same answer. And it's basically, if you're going to be running nitrous, the best fuel for safety and for a wide tuning window is C16. C16 is normal gasoline. It's completely non-oxygenated. It's got no ethanol in it. It's got no methanol in it. The AFRs are normal. It's fucking leaded, which isn't good for lambda sensors, but that's only if you're like running it all the time. Just running it when the nitrous is on will have no effect on lambda sensor life at all. But yeah, C16 is the one. They said it's got the widest, because it's like 120 plus octane leaded race fuel, super safe, super wide tuning window. Another reason I probably didn't want to take the risk of pump fuel, because there's a risk, because I've only running one baby small wastegate, that the extra exhaust gas of the nitrous will make the boost go up higher. I don't know, maybe the wastegate's going to be good enough and it can vent it, but there's a distinct possibility when the nitrous comes on, boost will rise. And for that reason, I want the most debt resistant badass fuel going, and that's C16. So the other day I went and bought some C16. It ain't cheap, but like I said with earlier with a fuel cell, this is 19 litres, which is gonna last me probably 3 or 4 bottles of nitrous. So yeah, I think this was 165 quid, which is, it's a hell of a lot per litre. But when you're only using, you know, like I said, 3 or 4 bottles of nitrous is to last me, 165 quid is nothing. You know what I mean? It's literally, I'll end up using probably 3 times that in normal pump fuel, just pottering about at least before I use that. So this is again the beauty of the dual fuel thing. It makes sense. It's logical for a legit road car. I'm not into all this bullshit of like, you know, add an E85 or whatever, you know, this, that, the other to your normal fuel system, because then it's not a road car, because you either are only doing that for like dyno runs and, you know, all on the strip, or fucking willy waving fucking draggy runs, but you can't run it all the time. I want a car, this car's built to like, anytime I want to use it at full power, I can use it at full power. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, well, come back and race me another day after I filled up with race fuel. It's like, no, fuck off, mate. That's gay as fuck. I keep seeing lately all these people running like E85 mixes and methanol mixes and stuff in their like road cars and like showing off how fast they are. It's like, yeah, but you're not doing that all the time. You're almost never doing that. So it's bollocks. It's fake times, really. So I want this car to be as fast as it can be all the time, and that's why I'm doing this setup. So yeah, C16. This here is a bottle blanket for the nitrous, because basically you want the nitrous at optimal pressure, and that blanket heats it up basically to keep it at an optimal temperature, which keeps it at optimal pressure. And in a country like this especially, it's not going to be hot enough, so the blanket basically is, I think it's thermostatically controlled. I can't remember, if it's thermostat or a pressure switch. I don't know, if I've not wired it up yet, but either way, that will keep that, because if it's not hot enough, it's not enough pressure, which means the nitrous just won't perform as well as it would. So yeah, I'm adding that. I've just not added it yet. Everything else is plumbed in though. I've just not wired in. Basically the nitrous is the only thing that's not wired in. The pump I need to wire in, and the stuff at the back you may or may not have spotted, but that is the nitrous. If you can see, that's the nozzle. It's not screwed, well, it's fitted at the moment just before the throttle body. Thomas welded me in a 1.8 MPT bung. But yeah, this is the that's it, Proton is the name of the kit. This is the solenoids in there. This is, because I'm a fucking child, a purge valve, which is, you don't need it, but I just find it amusing. So if I ever want to blow some clouds of fucking nitrous, well, you know, it's childish as fuck, so why not, for the sake of another 100 quid or whatever it cost me. But yeah, I just need to wire this in, and it's done. It's all piped up. So that's the fuel line, that's the nitrous line. It's all running under the car, and now these are the two that goes to the jet itself. These aren't connected at the moment because, well, they was connected, but I disconnected them while I was doing all the piping, which is actually, it's busy as fucking here, as you can see, but it's a lot neater than it used to be. It's like, especially, you can't see because it's intake pipe, but all the fuel, the cooling system is much simplified to how it used to be, and things are just laid out nicer. I had to actually buy a new map sensor the other day because, you know, I said I haven't really been feeling it with this car. One of the reasons, I don't know, just my head wasn't fucking with it, and I even managed to break my old map sensor the other day because I just wasn't taking care and wasn't thinking about it, and I was trying to remove a pipe off it. It was mounted there originally. I was trying to take a pipe off it, not thinking, didn't even have the Jubilee undone, forgetting that it's just a plastic pipe, and snapped the fucking pipe off the map sensor. Not a cheap sensor either, they're about 70 quid. But yeah, I've got a second wind of it now, so yeah, the nitrous has helped sort of get me excited. And yeah, it's fucking close. Oh yeah, obviously, you know the Queen. Now the door is rusty. It's not real rust, it's fake fucking stick-on rust. But I just thought I'd be even more of a dickhead with making this car look weird and shit. So it's got fake rust. Yeah, that down there, I will show you. This will be the nitrous arming. Again, I bought this because it just amused me, because I just like to take the piss. So this will be arming the actual nitrous. This will literally be to purge it. But yeah, it's a Jewish space laser. And yeah, all the gauges now work properly, so that's fucking done at last, even though it took forever for them to bloody send it me and all that bullshit, but it's ready. So yeah, we are close. I want to print some labels out to stick on the fuse box so I know what everything is. I want to print some labels out and put them on the vacuum distribution block so I remember what one of these goes to different things, because it's like one to each of the 2 fuel pressure regulators, one to the map sensor, and one to the boost control, you know, wastegate. So it'd be nice to have it labeled to say which one's which so I remember. But yeah, this is how it is, and it's wow, big changes from what you last saw, but I think it'd be good. I don't know why I'm doing it really, but I'm not doing it to like, because I don't care about power figures. You know, I couldn't give a shit. I care about going fast. And I really think the Nitrous will probably really fucking do more for the performance than the peak power increase would make you think. As in, while it will, you know, say if I'm running like a 35 jet, which is the smallest jets on these, and it gives me 35 horsepower, it probably won't, probably give me more by the sounds of it, but say if it gave me 35 up top, I think the measured performance increase will be way more than 35 sounds because of how it will affect the power band. Because obviously I've got the diesel gearing in it now, which is longer. But for example, if the Nitrous means I've got more low down grunt, not like low, but say 4,000 onwards grunt, it may mean I can say do like draggy 100 to 200 or 60 to 130 runs in a higher gear, as in starting a higher gear. So I've got less gear changes, which tends to make a faster time. And that might be what the Nitrous will give me. So it's not just 35 brake up top, it's the big boost low down, might mean one less gear change, which might, you know, does mean much faster on performance times. Because you see like Corvettes are a good one for that. Even though when they're not that powerful, they've got like freakishly good like acceleration times, like that, you know, they're in gear, well, not necessarily in gear, but like the 100 to 200s or 60 to 130s. It's like, how the fuck is that so fast? It's only like 450 horsepower, not light. The reason is they've got such a big power band with a big V8 that's very torquey, and the way their gearing is, they do like the 60 to 130 in one gear. There's no gear changes. They're in the power band 60 to 130 without having to change gear. Which is, yeah, it does make a big difference. So potentially, I think the Nitrous might, because obviously Nitrous makes turbos spool up way faster, and this spools up fast enough anyway. I don't really, it's not like I need that, but if it potentially allows me, say, to have the usable power band start a bit lower. I think at the moment it's probably about 4.5. I think full boost is 4,500 RPM, 30 psi boost. If I could say punch it up, you don't activate Nitrous at low RPM anyway, because that's just asking for bent rods, because too much torque. Because the lower the RPM you activate it, the bigger the torque increase will be. It's the same as the bigger the higher the boost at the lower the RPM, the higher the torque will be. But if I could make, have the power band starting at 4,000 instead of 4.5, it might really help. But I don't know for sure until I know what the gearing's like. So who knows? But either way, it's gonna make it faster, as you can imagine. But we will see. But kind of got it just fun, and it's also good for the future, because while this is a big turbo, chances are whenever I blow this engine up, this standard pistons engine, I would go for forged pistons and probably an even bigger turbo. And in that case, the nitrous really can help wake it up. So, you know, because this nitrous does a good job of being anti-lag. So, because that's what a lot of people use it for, literally to help spool the turbos. So yeah, it's just a fun experiment because I'm just all about, you know, this car's my enjoyment. It's nothing else. It's literally like having fun, and nitrous is just one of those, you know, it's the whole reason I got the purchasing. It's for no performance reason. It's just because I find it amusing, you know. And it's the same with the fucking nitrous. It's the same with my stupid fucking Jewish space laser switcher I bought because I saw it for sale and I thought it was funny. And yeah, it's just one of them. So yeah, all good fun. And best of all, I've got my mojo back with this. I'm loving it again. And even though it's dusty as fuck because it is sat here for months, it's actually very nearly there now. I need to go and take the nitrous bottle somewhere to get it filled up as well. And but yeah, we're very close. All I've got to do now is wiring that fuel pump, wiring the nitrous solenoids, wiring the nitrous blanket, put in the driver's seat, and we're literally good to go. But yeah, that is it. Quite big progress, quite close to being ready, and quite exciting, which is good because I haven't been really feeling this car for about 6 months for no reason. I mean, I've loved every minute of this car when I've been driving it. I just don't like working on cars. I really don't. I'm quite good at working on cars, as in I build some mad shit, but I don't enjoy it. Some people don't. They enjoy the build more than using the car. You often see that with people. These people build these crazy cars and then they never really use them. They either just take them to shows and potter about in them and be like, look at me and my mental car, but never do anything with it. Or they sell them not long after and do another build. I'm the other way around. I fucking hate building cars. This is a means to an end. As in, I want a hypercar or better performance, but I can't afford a £500,000 car, or you know, this is like, well, realistically, what is it, including the nitrous? We're talking sort of what equivalent to what, McLaren 720S. I haven't got hundreds of thousands of pounds for one of them, but I have got like a little bit of money to make this fast. Unfortunately, that means I've got to work. And I hate building cars, but I do know how to make them fast. So it's a means to an end, unfortunately. And yeah, because I don't like it, I haven't bothered over the winter very much. But the excitement of getting this back out there and being able to use this performance again has re-inspired me. I'll tell you what's inspired me a little bit as well. Watching Sick Week, the Drag and Drive event on, watching the videos on YouTube, people doing that and stuff. It's like, you know what? It's just, because it's not a serious event. Nobody takes it serious. It's just like enjoying yourself, which is what I like. You know what I mean? It's like they're racing, but they're having a fucking, it's not serious. Not doing it for any money. They don't give a shit if they win or lose. It's just having a crack. And that's what I'm about. I just like fucking having fun in cars. So yeah, that kind of inspired me. And also I saw some people the other day, some bikers who, again, how bikers are, they think they're like, not any car in the world is anywhere near as fast as them, even though most of these bikers wasn't even people with like the fastest bikes at all. These are just like dickheads. And yeah, it just made me think I need to get this out on the road and make some people cry, be it bikers or normal cars, because everybody's going to be upset when a fucking shitbox dirty old MR2 destroys them, especially with the ladder badges it's got on it now. So yeah, enough waffling. I'm going to edit this video and post it up so you can see it, because it is well gone midnight now. See you next time. Ta-ra.